punching the news at 6 in the morning and evening. That's why we are unbeatable. Newsnet, Liberia's news of the day on OKFM 99.5.
Good morning, it's 6 o'clock in Monrovia. Welcome to News Net on OKFM 99.5. My name is Trukon Freeman presenting, and it is Wednesday, 11th day of July 2018. In our top stories this morning, treading on dangerous waters, Opposition Liberty Party describes Representative Akaras Gray's impeachment proceeding against Justice Jane. Wants the lawmaker to redirect his energy on improving the country's economy. Stop blaming Salif for the current economic crisis. Former information boss Bubla tells critics, says Finance Minister Atoye was a member of the economic team of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, while former Vice President Weir was senator when the new banknotes were printed. Police authorities confirmed the death of Colonel Mickey Gray as Grand Jide County Detachment of the Liberia National Police arrests a 52-year-old man for allegedly beating his wife in Grand Jide County for refusing him sex. And away from Liberia, drivers in northern Tallinn have rescued all 12 boys and their football coach from Florida Caves 17 days after they got trapped underground. The details of these stories and other developments are packaged in the presentation of the program. Stay with us for the rest of the 45 minutes. Thanks for rejoining Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. At this point, we're John Augustine Bill Colley to bring you the news bulletin. Augustine, good morning.
Good morning, Trugan. Good morning, everyone. Opposition Liberty Party has described Representative Akaras Gray impeachment proceeding against Justice Janan as treading on dangerous waters. The party in a release notes that instead of focusing on impeaching a justice, it is rather better to redirect effort on improving the country's economy. The release, under the signature of Chairman Steve Zago, views the lawmaker's action as being supported by the governing party. According to him, the average Liberian citizen is in need of basic services such as health care and good living conditions. Senator Steve Zackle said the Liberty Party would do everything possible to oppose the campaign intended to impeach Associate Justice Janan at the Supreme Court. Former Information Minister Dr. Lawrence Broplett is cautioning surrogates of the Weah-led government to stop blaming others for the current economic woes. According to Dr. Broplett, blaming shifting doesn't help in any way to solve the economic hardship, suggesting needed to keep the conversation around the growth of development. Reverend Dr. Broplett's comment was apparently in response to statements attributed to supporters of the current administration blaming former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the paralysis of the Liberian economy. Broplett recalled that President Weah's current finance minister Samuel Tuer was a member of the economic team in the Sirleaf administration and further questioned if President Weah didn't work as a senator in the past government and vote for the printing of new bank notes. Deputy Commissioner of Police for Operations Mickey Gray is dead. This was confirmed Tuesday by police spokesman Moses Carter while in a brief chat with local journalists at the Samuel Strucker Funeral Pilot in Monrovia. Gray was pronounced dead at the SDA Cooper Hospital in Monrovia. The police spokesman said Commissioner Gray was granted a medical leave after complaining of ailment. Carter mentioned that the entire life of the deceased was dedicated to the Liberian National Police. The circumstances leading to the death of Gray are yet to be established. The Liberian National Police says it has put in place measures to arrest the printing and circulation of counterfeit Liberian banknotes on the market. Police Inspector General Patrick Sudu told a news conference Tuesday in Monrovia that the spread of counterfeit banknotes on the market is due to the lack of adequate police officers at various border points in the country. The police board's comment comes in the wake of the recent arrest of a Nigerian with counterfeit Liberian banknotes in the tune of over $1 million in Nimba County. According to Colonel Sudu, the police under his administration will provide the needed security to put the situation under control. He wants the public to aid the police with information about individuals who are counterfeiting the banknotes in the country. Aji Sudu has meanwhile challenged those denying the report of the Liberian National Police surrounding a recent violation situation in Gardensville involving motorcyclists to come up with evidence to provide the LMP wrong. Reports say a 52-year-old Jared Bacha has severely beaten his wife in Grand Jithe County for refusing him sex. The incident is said to have occurred at about 12 midnight on Tuesday in Blontown, BI District. Some residents who went to the rescue of the woman were also badly hit by the 52-year-old man. Meanwhile, our reporter Gabriel Uti said the 52-year-old man is currently being investigated by police in the county. The House of Representatives has endorsed President George Weah's veto of the Hammerberg Resources Mineral Development Agreement due to objections. Both houses of the legislature recently submitted the agreement to President Weah for approval, but the president, in his verification of the document, noticed a date error, including 2017 instead of 2018, and that pages 14 and 15 of Agnes 3 are unsigned, among others. According to President Weah, his office lacks the power to correct the errors as contained in the submitted version of the agreement by the legislature. However, a motion by Representative Thomas Fala endorsed the President's veto, mandating his office to further negotiate as the legislature stands ready to cooperate. At the same time, 3 committees of the lower house have been mandated to review the communication from President George Weah seeking ratification of additional financing for the West African Power Pool Interconnection Project among Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea. The committees include Ways and Means, Mines and Energy, and the Judiciary. Our legislative reporter said the original international development assistance loan for the implementation of the regional project is US $147 million negotiated earlier in March 2012. The communication added that the additional financing allotted to Liberia is US $45.3 million due to an increase between the period of 2012 and 2016 based on the Ebola crisis and other economic constraints. Disbanded members of the armed forces of Liberia are requesting government to settle their arrears. Speaking at a news conference in Monrovia Tuesday, Major Alexander Gualdoyan for all battalions and sub-unit commander of the disbanded AFL said former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf dissolved the AFL with no benefits. General Gore said former President Sirleaf also failed to reconcile with disbanded AFL personnel. He stressed that the 15,000 ex-servicemen need their benefits while requesting the government to turn over the Veteran Bureau of the Armed Forces of Liberia to them. According to Mr. Gore, the issue of their benefits has always been politicized while neighboring countries do not politicize theirs. The Liberia National Fire Service says it has lost approximately $1.2 million Liberian dollars and 54,000 United States dollars as a result of fake receipts issued by some unscrupulous individuals in the name of the entity. The head of the institution, Alex Dixon, noted that the institution has conducted several investigations surrounding the missing fund but has not been able to discover the perpetrators. He added that in an effort to avoid the recurrence of such action, the Liberia National Fire Service has instituted a measure geared towards the inspection of original flag receipts issued to factories and other premises. He told a news conference Tuesday that the Liberia National Fire Service is expected to receive the fire chief from the state of Maryland in the United States of America, who according to him will conduct assessment and training for firefighters in the country. Serious tension has again hit the Sino Legislative Caucus amidst the indefinite suspension and expulsion of two of its members. It can be recalled June 6, 2018, all 5 members of the caucus met in Bamako, Mali and signed a peace accord after years of internal wrangling. 2 separate communications under the signature of Secretary Nangbes Law, acting Chairman Quinton Duncan and Advisor Milton Tieje confirmed the indefinite suspension of Representative Matthew Zaza and expulsion of Senator Joseph Nangbi. Prior to the Sino caucus decision, Representative Zaza served as chairman. In the separate communications, the new Sino caucus revealed that the 2 lawmakers violated the peace accord, amongst others. Golden Verulam Liberia has expressed disappointment by high risks in the rainforest report from Sustainable Development Institute in partnership with Friends of Noftiland and Friends of East One in the United States. Golden Verulam, in a statement issued, said the report includes inaccurate information and previously disputed claims to the detriment of the Golden Verulam reputation. While the 65-year concession agreement signed by Golden Verulam Liberia and the government of Liberia in 2010 thus allow for gross total of 350,000 hectares due to Golden Verulam Liberia commitment to forest protection and community engagement. To date, 17,000 hectares have been planted by Golden Verulam, the release added. And alien Liberian journalist Henry Bestman is pleading with President George Weah, First Lady Claire Weah, and other senior officials of government to assist him seek medical treatment abroad. Mr. Bestman suffers a terrible wound on his left elbow, hence an Ellsworth score contained in a press release issued in Monrovia discloses. He is also requesting assistance from Chief Justice Francis Kokbo, Justice Minister Musa Dane and other cabinet officials and lawmakers, as well as philanthropist organizations in the country. Journalist Bestman, according to the release, has been suffering from the illness since 2004. It also discloses that Bestman is diagnosed of diabetes and who have his hand cut off if concrete action is not taken to resolve his critical health problem. He is asking well-meaning Liberians to assist him with the sum of $1,300 United States to travel to Ghana for draft skin surgery. And that's the Notes Bulletin.
Thanks very much, Augustine Bill Colley, for the news bulletin. Augustine returns here later on to bring you foreign developments. It's exactly 30 minutes past 6 o'clock in Monrovia. If you just joining us, listening to Newsnet on OKFM 99.5. My name is Troy Confirmant, presenting on this Wednesday, July 11, 2018's presentation of the program. In our top stories, treading on dangerous waters, opposition Labour Party describes Representative Akaros Gray's impeachment proceeding against Justice Janet, wants the lawmaker to redirect his energy on improving the country's economy. Stop blaming former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the current economic crisis. And former Mika boss Lawrence Buple tells critics, says Finance Minister Toy was a member of the economic team in the Sirleaf administration, while further invert President Weir was senated when the new banknotes were printed. Police authorities confirmed the death of Colonel Mickey Gray as Grand County detachment of the Liberia National Police arrested 52-year-old man for allegedly beating his wife in Grand County for refusing him sex. And away from Liberia, drivers in the Northern Tallinn have rescued all 12 boys and the football coach from Florida Caves 17 days after they got trapped on the ground. This newscast is being screened live on Facebook, OKFM Liberia, and of course we'll read you some comments on our page, OKFM 99.5. The voice of truth in Sanikole Nimakani is also relaying this presentation, as well as the voice of hope in Plibo, Maryland County. Let's now go into the actualities, beginning with this political development where the opposition Labour Party has described Representative Akaros Gray's impeachment proceeding against Justice Kabina Janan as treading on dangerous waters. The party in the release knows that instead of focusing on impeaching Justice Janan, it is rather better to redirect efforts in improving the country's economy. The release under the signature of Chairman Steve Zako views the lawmakers' action as being supported by the governing party. In furtherance, Steve Zako appeared on the OK after the conversation with Smith Toby and made these comments.
So what we're saying that we suspect, and sufficiently right so, as is outlined in our press release, that there is an attempt to get at a certain justice, or because he have an opinion that they now favor his ruling establishment. And had that opinion been the overriding opinion, you would not have had them today be the ruling establishment. So that is the goal that tread their path, and as such, they will do all they can to ensure that they reach out to that certain justice. So we see it's illegal. I mean, he has the right to his opinion, as I, as a lawmaker, have the right to my opinion. So we're not going to sit down as an opposition political party and just let it go, down the road. So we send a caveat that if, and again, you saw Unit Park came over there, they are acknowledge and inform all of the lawmakers not to vote in favor of what so-called impeachment procedure. And I've come to say this to us too, that the Liberty Party will do all within our reach to oppose an attempt to impeach a sitting justice of the Supreme Court.
The chairman of the opposition Liberty Party, Steve Zako, there speaking when he appeared on the OK afternoon conversation with Smith Toby. The former Information Minister Dr. Lawrence Buple is cautioning surrogates of the Weir-led government to stop blaming others for the current economic woes. According to Dr. Buple, blame shifting doesn't help in any way to solve the economic hardship, suggesting is to keep the conversation around the growth of the country.
In where we find ourselves, especially with the economy. Now, the economy has not come to a standstill, but it's crawling, and some of them knowledgeable, some of them not so knowledgeable, have given their own opinion as to why we're where we are. However, finding ourselves where we are is good to acknowledge. How do we move beyond where we are is what the conversation should be about. I don't fancy the blaming contest for my Gopu in Gamu in Central Bond County. Doesn't care how we got to where we are. What she is concerned about, how can she survive, and that of her family members. I believe that as a nation and people, we should be very concerned about that. Remember, former Vice President Joe Boyka, in one of the interviews that he held, said, "Oh no, I was just there. I didn't have any power to do much. I was just there. I was a race car parked in the garage." That came back to haunt him because people say, "No, you were there. You were part of it." I listened to people, not President Weah himself, but I listened to people say, President Weah is not responsible. In fact, he had nothing to do with it. Well, is that absolutely correct?
What do you think?
Well, wasn't President Weah in the legislature? What part did he have to play? Who voted for this reprinting of banknotes, etc., etc.? We should not get into the habit of shifting responsibilities when it comes to governance.
Former Information Minister Dr. Lawrence Boble Veilleux speaking. Liberians are mourning the death of Colonel Mickey Gray, Deputy Police Commissioner for Operations. This was confirmed Tuesday by police spokesman Moses Carter while in a brief chat with local journalists in Monrovia. Gray was pronounced dead at the SDA Cooper Hospital in Sengal. Police spokesman Moses Carter said Gray was granted a medical leave after complaining of ailment. Carter mentioned that the entire life of the deceased was dedicated to the Liberian National Police.
To say it's a very sad day for the Liberian government, a sad day for the LNP, and a sad day for his family. A very loving and caring, very dedicated servant. His entire life was dedicated to the work of policing, and today he's no more. And he's been sick for a little while, and so he took a sick leave, and that leave was granted until we heard a few minutes ago of his passing. It's very saddening, very, very saddening. And so we're wanting to make sure that we get the medical report as per the cause of death, and then we can release that information to the public. And I just received a call from the executive mansion. The president is very concerned about the news, and so it is very saddening, like I say, very, very saddening.
Police spokesman Moses Carter. The circumstances leading to the death of Gray are yet to be established. Some prominent security actors, including Deputy Immigration Boss Asadu Bakanem, have been speaking to journalists.
I have my relationship with them, though I'm not at the police, but working with an organization for 25 unbroken years. It's still where you live. And I remember well, it was from my recommendation that brought Mickey on the line. I recommended him when he graduated from the academy to serve as chief of traffic. He always said, "Oh, Mom, I will never make you shame." Very well, very, very well. As much as he was sick, serve his country.
Indeed, aside there, when you miss somebody who has been with you, it's like you have missed everything. This is a very sad event for not only the Liberian National Police, but the entire country. And so we're going to miss him a lot. He has been a force behind this police force. He has been an architect. He has done a lot, but so is the time and so is the condition. Yes, I was deputy chief of traffic when he was chief of traffic. Then he went to intelligence. I rose to the rank of chief of traffic. Then when I became chief of traffic, I went to major crimes. Then he came as commissioner for operations. Then I came back as chief of public safety. And we understand him well. Not only me, all of the men in public safety, and recently the man in operations, because his focus was in public safety.
Some security actors were paying tribute to fallen Deputy Police Commissioner Mickey Gray. The Liberian National Police says it has put in place measures to arrest the printing and circulation of counterfeit Liberian banknotes on the market. Police Inspector General Patrick Suru told the news conference Tuesday in Monrovia that the spread of counterfeit banknotes on the market is due to the lack of adequate police officers at various polling points in the country.
We thought it was to bring this up because the infusion of this counterfeit banknote is also giving rise to the inflation that we are experiencing today. And I would like to say thank you to our citizens. They are of all help to us. Because of the information we gather from citizens, we are making these strides to arrest people who are engaging in unwholesome attitude. We would also like to appeal to the general public to please notify the police. Your name will not be exposed. Trust me, notify the police of this unscrupulous act. We have a very good border security, but the problem we have at the border point is beyond our own modus operandi at the border point. We have a porous border. To get men, to adequately man our police, that border will be talking about probably half of the LMP because the border is porous. So these guys who are entering with these monies, they are not passing through the original border points. They're using pathway, they're using keynotes.
The Inspector General of the Liberian National Police, Patrick Suru. In more security news, reports say the 52-year-old man, Jerry Baker, has severely beaten his wife in Grand Jide County for refusing him sex allegedly. The incident is said to have occurred at about 12 midnight on Tuesday in Browntown, Bihar district. Some residents who went to the rescue of the woman were also hit badly by the suspect. Our correspondent in Grand Jide County is Gabriel Yoti. He provides the details.
This happened late this morning at 12 a.m. A man identified as Jerry Bacher in Bloomtown, BI district, severely beat his wife and grabbed the woman and drove her around town. And when the woman was screaming for help, some resident of the community came out to rescue the woman, and the woman ran into one of the neighbor house. So when the woman ran into the neighbor house, the man wanted to enter the house to grab the lady. So the guy stood at the door. So when the guy stood at the door, he started to push the guy, and apparently he beat the man on his neck. And when he beat the man on his neck, the man went into shock. So all the community members came, and they called the community police commander. And the community police commander in turn called the district commissioner. This is an area that is far away from the road, which is about 3 hours away from Town where you walk. So the district commissioner gave order that they should grab the man and have him tied up until the police can be able to get on the scene. So while the man was tied up and they were keeping the medical personnel were looking at the man who went into shock, the man went and losing himself and escaped. And when he escaped, he came to the commissioner compound or the civil compound and reported the incident that in fact he had personal issue with his wife and he was tied up. So they are going to investigate. But some community member was saying this is not his first time. They say according to what the woman narrated to him, he wanted to have an affair with a woman, and the woman refused. So then when he stripped the woman naked and started to beat the woman.
Our Grand Jide County correspondent Gabriel Yoti on the line from Zwedru. Members of the House of Representatives have endorsed President George Weah's veto of the Hammerberg Resources Mineral Development Agreement due to objections. Both houses of the legislature recently submitted the agreement to President Weah for approval. But the President, in his verification of the document, noticed a date error, including 2017 instead of 2018, and the pages 14 and 15 of Annex 3 are unsigned, among others. According to the President, his office lacks the power to correct the errors as contained in the submitted version of the agreement by the legislature. However, the motion by Representative Thomas Fowler endorsed the President's veto, mandating his office to further negotiate as the legislature stands ready to cooperate.
This document, they record, so to speak, veto in terms of vetoing some of the lines. Mr. Speaker, the legislature, in my mind, we acted in good faith in the spirit and doctrine of cooperation for the smooth governance of our country. That document was rectified. And the same negotiator, having been the chief executive, the president, have said, listening to the communication, that there were issues that needed to be taken care of. And apparently, in the wisdom of the executive, the president, those issues need to be further addressed. I move in that same spirit, Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, that said instrument be received. And without further ado, Mr. Speaker, because we are aware this is an emerging government, there are issues, and those issues, as they unfold, need to be addressed for the common good of all of us and our citizens.
Representative Thomas Fowler with a motion that led to the endorsement of a communication by President George Weah vetoing the Hummingbird Resources Mineral Development Agreement due to objections. Disbanded members of the Armed Forces of Liberia are requesting the government to settle their arrears. Speaking at a news conference in Monrovia Tuesday, Major Alexander Gia, doyen for all battalions and sub-unit commander of the disbanded EFA, said former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf dissolved the EFA with no benefits. General Gia said former President Sirleaf also failed to reconcile with disbanded EFA personnel.
So the manner in which we were dissolved, it was because President Sirleaf was the Good Governor Commission, and Judy Bryant, he was the chairman. So the one for who to go in, and the way for who and Judy Bryant wrote this letter, and you will also see to Daniel Chair that they should dissolve the army at the time the CPA suspended the constitution. It was because of some heady agenda by Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, because she knew she was going to become a president. So when she became a president, she went and told us that we kill her people at the funding that she was going to give her $3,000, and we kill her people so she would not give her $5 red. And her weakness there, she can forgive and she can reconcile. So there for 12 years, we organize ourselves to engage this government here. We've been keeping the peace. Anytime Sisi coming, anyone will come and talk to us. People say, oh, Sisi coming, they're begging for money. We're not begging for money. But with the 50,000 men, they need their benefit. How will you have the woman for 18 years old? The woman stay with you in the house for almost 50 years. Now, so money, you chunk the woman after she born you 6 children. You say the woman go out. How you think that woman will survive? You gotta settle that woman. Just go telling the government, and now we agree, we are creatures from space, but they must settle us. But she failed. Now our brother too, who is a countryman and came up from the grassroots, we put all our weight behind him. We say, yeah, Joy, we are go there. You are a football legend. But our own brother, he have not said anything about us.
Major Alexander Gio, speaking at the news conference here in Monrovia, the Liberia National Fire Service says he has lost approximately $1.2 million Liberian dollars and $52,000 US as a result of fake receipts issued by some unscrupulous individuals in the name of the entity. The head of the institution, Alex Dixon, told Notable for the institution has conducted several investigations surrounding the missing fund, but has not been able to discover the perpetrators. He told a news conference Tuesday that NFS is expected to receive the fire chief from the state of Maryland in the United States, who, according to him, will conduct assessment and training for firefighters in the country.
So the fire chief of Howard County, Maryland, will be in Liberia on the 23rd of July to come on assessment, and he will be doing some training for the fire department too while in Liberia. So he'll be here on the 23rd to see what we lack and what we want. Came up from when I took over, I discovered that government lost the amount of $1.2 million Liberian dollars in inspection and $54,000 United States dollars from fixed receipt. People brought receipts into the system. People brought certificate, LRS certificate into the system that are not proper and they are fixed. They are all 419 receipts that were brought to the system. So government had to lose that huge amount of money, and we try to work on our system here to see how best we can improve the system and discover the received that are coming that are not proper. This is why I had to stop the inspection until I make sure that we get into the new budget year, and then I can start inspection properly with the measures that I'm putting into place.
Alex Dixon is the head of the Liberia National Fire Service, saying that the entity has lost approximately $1.2 million Liberian dollars and 54,000 United States dollars as a result of fake receipts issued by some unscrupulous individuals in the name of the agency. The man who went missing for more than 6 days in the Bombing Mountain region has been found alive but in an appalling health condition. This is according to reports. The report says the 52-year-old man, identified as James Salif, was discovered during the weekend around the Manuan, a clan area, 6 days after he was last seen behind the Bombing Wood region en route to Matia town in the above village. Our correspondent in Bombing County is Percy Foley.
It all happened the 1st of July, wherein this 52-year-old man identified as James Salif, a resident of Stewart County here in South. Well, he had a farm wherein a king farm, more often he leave from Stewart County to go on a farm to something called Sugar Cane come and sell. So he went to the farm of a town called Goa. So one day he left, according to him, he left to go in the bush and call right to come back. But while in the process, there where he got missing, and according to him, he was caught by a dwarf for a 6 day, and he was not eating food. He was kept by them until they thought they can find him within the area.
Where is the man currently?
When they found him, he was not very in good condition. You could see straw grass all on his body cut off, and they had to take him quickly to the Nagrava hospital where he right now is undergoing medical treatment.
Was it a forest or in the Bombing Mountain?
It's not really a forest. Some people call it a young bush. It is not really a forest, but it is just a young bush where in sometimes people go and do farming or other things. About to get inside the first time, it happened some part of last year wherein a 70-year-old man identified as Tony Sherman from a town called Gasalamu right near Bola, wherein he was in the night, according to them, he went to bed. And later on, the next morning, he never to be found around, and there was a big search that took place where he used another hunters waiting in the bush to look for him. Up to present, he has not been found.
Percy Foley is our Bombing County correspondent. Let's now get your comments to some of the stories we've been following this morning. George Xavier Nangwe writes, Senator Steve Zako had just hit the nail on the head. What impacts the impeachment of Justice Janan has eyes on the improvement of the livelihood of the struggling masses. We are faced with a complete economic crisis. The pro government has no feeling for these people. Honorable Gray, please keep your energy to help design strategies to tackle the president nightmare. As it relates to other issues, let me extend my deepest condolence to the family of the late Mickey Gray. Finally, there is no reason for shifting blames because of all of the major stakeholders in this government were part of this Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration. Mohammed A. Dukle Jr. now comes in with his comments. Good morning, President Weah and the potential young people of the community, where many people are complaining about the U.S. rate. Even though I deeply support the pro-poor agenda, but I'm in total disagreement with Honorable Gray's call for impeachment. The Liberian people major priority is to reduce the rate. I'm of the belief that impeachment will cause another wound to our justice system, which may subsequently undermine our fragile democracy. I want to summarize our comments because we have tons of them here. Leo Mohammed Dugley. Good morning, Liberia. We want to know the reason behind the skyrocketing of the U.S. rate, then the increase in price of local commodities on the Liberian market, and what is the CDC-led government is doing to remedy this economic hardship. OKFM Liberia just now is a financial activism instead of the CDC-led administration finding solution to our many economically challenged problems. The lawmakers are busy talking about impeachment and contesting for another election. OKFM Liberia, will the USD rate come down after Justice Janet is impeached, or will the price of gasoline and other commodities drop when Sir Joseph is elected senator? Randolph Julius Malima Kemuka, good morning to the peace-loving masses of Liberia. It is sad to hear about a self-proclaimed flow fighter, Representative Moses Akaros Gray, involving two trivial issues like his impeachment process of Justice Janet. In my mind, I think power has overshadowed him. He is indeed. Wow, this one is not too clear. Fellow Liberians, I know you would agree that Labour Party, that the action of Representative Gray is supported by the governing CDC. Let's go and bring you more developments on the program. The board chairman of the Forestry Development Authority, Harrison Kanwe, has reassured Liberia's commitment to managing its forest for the benefit of all. Speaking at the close of his 6th annual Joint Implementation Committee meeting at the Voluntary Partnership Agreement on Tuesday, Mr. Kanwe pledged Liberia's continual support to the VPA as a means of making Liberia's timers acceptable worldwide.
The Board of Directors of the Forestry Development Authority is very happy today that the VPA held sometime 2 weeks ago has finally come to an end with the signing of the aid memoir today. We also thank the Office of the FDA Managing Director, the Office of the EU Ambassador, the FLECT Facilitator for this mutually acceptable outcome. We look forward to the successful implementation of the VPA until Liberia joins Indonesia to issue FLECT certificate in the not too distant future. We look to the partners for continuous support to the VPA implementation as present support comes to an end at the end of October.
Harrison Kanwe, former managing director and non-board chair of the Forestry Development Authority, speaking at the program, the head of the corporation's section resilience at the European Union delegation to Liberia, Alberto Mahiri, expressed joy for the FDA to pledge its commitment to the agreement between the Liberian government and the EU.
And we are also very happy that today we are signing the final document of this 6th Joint Implementation Committee of the EU-Liberia Voluntary Partnership Agreement. The discussions this time have been particularly intense and to the substance. I believe that's a very good sign. That shows that the voluntary partnership agreement is alive and kicking. We are particularly pleased to see that the new administration is committed to the voluntary partnership agreement. This is the first implementation committee that we hold under the new or the reconfigured leadership.
Alberto Mahiri is a representative of the European Union. Let's now bring you the last development. The CEO of one media house incorporated, Patrick Hornan, said the Liberian government could be dragged to court for scuffling the operations of Punch FM 106.7. Punch is owned by One Media House Incorporated. Mr. Hornan has expressed that no opposition politician or party has an investment in the establishment of Punch.
That can be one of the options. Another option can be we can take the government to go to place a stay order on its decision. Option can be we can write the legislature that not a single opposition politician, and take my word to the bank, not a single opposition politician can take credit for investments in that radio station. Not a single one of them. Well, you see, the problem may not come from President Weah, but in Africa, you are quite aware that there's a word called henchmen. Those henchmen are the people who, in an attempt to appease the leader, go after perceived critics, especially at the time when the leader brands you as an enemy of the state because you raise issues, that don't favor him. I mean, how can I do that? I was working for the national radio station. I entertain opposition views. What about my private radio station? Even though I was employed and working for the national radio station, because you can attest to the fact, except we don't want to say the truth, but all of them know that we entertain opposition views.
Patrick Horner, the Chief Executive Officer of One Media House, the owner of Punch FM 106.7. We now bring you the last batch of comments, and of course we go over to the Gaston Bill Colley to bring you the foreign developments. Ralph P. Williams, rest in peace, Honorable Miggy Great. I'm Ralph P. Okay. Prince Kaya, good morning, OKFM. I agree with Honorable Great on the impeachment of Justice Janin. When is true? Justin P. Dennis, good morning, OKFM. And the peace-loving people of Virginian Waterside District number 17, why 52-year-old man will beat his woman for sex. Liberians, where are we heading? You have to be very much clearer, please. Morris S. Gable, good morning, OKFM. Let me say rest in peace, Commissioner Mickey Gray. We will always remember you for a great service to our nation building process. Rest, Mickey, rest. Honorable Gray is 100% right, calling for the impeachment of Justice Janet because he is a war criminal, shielding himself on the Supreme Court bench. He protected Madam Sally for 12 years for damaging our country, so let him go. Okay, strong allegation. And then we conclude with verse 1. Muhammad Manaba Jihad OKFM. OKFM, I am highly disappointed in Moses Zacharias Gray as an honorable man. A few years back, you, Mr. Gray, made all kinds of remarks against President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's led government that she has no means of transforming the lives of the Liberian people. Objectively, I don't support Honorable Sir Joseph for the senatorial position. At this time, we cross over to the Gaston Bill Colley to bring you a summary of international developments.
Divers in northern Thailand have rescued all 12 boys and their football coach from flooded caves 17 days after they got trapped on the ground. They applied in the massive, dangerous 3-day-long operation Freedom gripped the world's attention. 6 courts in the central region of Ghana risk been shut down at the end of the year. Ghana's Chief Justice Sophia Akufo, who is on a 4-day tour of judicial courts in the region, was shocked at the deplorable state of some of the courts she visited her first day of her tour. And horrifying accounts of gang rape, threats, being slashed, and mass shootings in South Sudan are described in the latest United Nations report on the country. It blames the violence on unity state and government and allied forces. The foreign news.
With those foreign developments, we conclude this presentation of news. Net on OKFM 99.5. Many thanks for listening and watching as well. But before we go, here are the top stories we follow in today's presentation of the program. Treading on dangerous waters, Opposition Liberty Party describes Representative Gray's impeachment proceeding against Justice Janet. Wants the lawmaker to redirect his energy on improving the country's economy. Stop blaming Madam Sirleaf for the current economic hardship. Former Mega Buzz Brublev tells critics, says Finance Minister Twe. was the member of the economic team in the Saliva administration, while Federal River President Weah was senator when the new banknotes were printed and voted. Police authorities confirmed the death of Mickey Gray as Grand Detachment of the Liberia National Police arrested a 52-year-old man for allegedly beating his wife for refusing him sex. And away from Liberia, drivers in Northern Thailand have rescued all 12 boys and a football coach from Florida caves 17 days after they got trapped on the ground. My name is Trokon Freeman. I presented Augustine Bill Colley, brought you the news bulletin and foreign developments. Eddie Pone inside the controls and handled the sounds. For more news and information on OKFM, you can log on to www.okfm@arrow.com. Thanks for listening.